Yeah, but you can't deny that this hasn't hit his brand. It has. It has damaged
You
his
think
brand.
it's, he truly didn't have America's interests? It's only the billionaires and himself?
Honest.
I
Come on, can we be honest?
I disagree. I disagree.
All right, who's their star player?
They all are stars.
Oh my
That's
God.
the thing.
Welcome back to the Black Summit. I'm Brooks.
And I am Hendrix.
We're coming up here on the spring. Well, we're in the spring. You got anything going on for the spring?
Nah, nothing really. Just enjoying this weather.
Yeah.
Just help my mom do a little bit of gardening.
Oh, okay.
That's about it, really. What about you?
Just fighting this pollen.
Oh yeah, a lot of that. I'm glad I don't get allergic to pollen like everybody else.
People don't talk about the pollen enough. Like in the South, it's like unbearable. It's crazy. My car is like covered. Every time I wash my car, I'm like, I can't even like get ahead here because it's like you might as well not.
It's yellow again, right?
Yeah,
It's like yellow dust.
It's crazy. I don't
know.
think I've ever seen anything like this.
Me
It's
neither,
like,
man. I don't.
It's like going through a dust storm.
I don't remember this much pollen when I was younger. I mean, it was always pollen, but I don't remember it being this much. Like yellow chalk dust.
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much.
It's terrible. I can't imagine having allergies. And I never really had allergies until I started living here.
Yeah.
So
Y'all don't have pollen like that in California.
it's not like this. I ain't
Yeah.
never seen it like this, where it's covering your cars.
It's like
and
it's
stuff.
getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Every year.
So.
And then it gets inside your car. It's everywhere. It's inside your car.
Yeah.
Even when your window's constantly up, but I guess
Yep.
travels through the wind, so.
It's crazy. All right, well, let's get into our topics here. Today we're going to be talking about Drake. Drake got a huge win versus UMG. In that case, a lot of people said that this wasn't going to be anything. A lot of people was talking about how he shouldn't have done it. We'll get into that. And we'll be talking about his Nokia video. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah, I saw some of the dance video.
Okay. So we're going to be talking about that. And then we got to get into this Trump tariff war that's going on. We're on the brink of recession. A lot of people are using that word a lot, very loosely, because the markets have been up and down. It's going to be interesting to see what comes of that. And then we got to talk about the NCAA tournaments, the men's and the women's. We now have winners on both sides, so we'll see what your thoughts are on the tournament. I didn't really pay attention to it much. I think I've maybe watched one game out of both of them. So
I watched some, but definitely the girls.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Drake versus UMG. I want to play a clip here. This is from ABC.
Celebrating a preliminary win, a federal judge has ruled the entertainer's attorneys can have access to Kendrick Lamar's contract and other sensitive information. The ruling's part of Drake's defamation lawsuit against Universal Music Group. Though Lamar is not a defendant himself in the case, it centers around the distribution and promotion of the song Not Like Us, which features some scathing lyrics about Drake.
Diane, for Drake, at the heart of this lawsuit is the argument that UMG, the parent company for both record labels that have Drake and Kendrick Lamar as artists, that they inflated the market, that they kind of worked behind the scenes to drive up the interest of Not Like Us to the detriment of Drake. And so what they're hoping for is that all the internal messages, any discussions, payments, bonuses, any kind of discussion as to whether or not lyrics should be censored at the Super Bowl might lend itself to their argument. And so they're hoping to get that evidence as well as sit people down for depositions to answer questions.
All right. What are your thoughts on all this stuff that we just found out?
How could he give access to his contract and other sensitive material? If I was him, I would have him do like a cease and desist. Why you got to see my sensitive material for? That's my contract. That I have. Man, you just lost a rap beef, man. I'm like, come on, man. You took it to this point. And she said the detriment of Drake. There's no detriment of Drake. Drake just had what is that, Nokia? And what's the name of that album he just came out with?
Yeah. But you can't deny that this hasn't hit his brand. It has. It has damaged his brand. And it was intentional.
Nah, I don't
Yeah,
think
it did.
I don't think
it did.
damaged his brand.
People look at
still
Drake
love
differently.
Drake.
Yeah,
Still love
he has his core fans, but because of this lawsuit, people think of Drake differently.
Yeah, because of the lawsuit.
That's the key.
Because of the
No,
lawsuit.
not because of the lawsuit.
No, yes, because of the lawsuit,
No,
they look at him differently.
No, it was
not
before
because
that.
of the rap battle.
Nah,
because
it was because
of
of
the
the rap battle.
lawsuit.
It
No,
was because of the
man,
rap battle.
It's because of the lawsuit. Jay-Z lost a rap battle to Nas. Nobody look at Jay-Z differently. They still calling Jay-Z the greatest of all time, even though he called himself that. But they still calling Jay-Z the greatest. Nobody. It's because of this lawsuit they look at him, and they both said detrimental stuff about one another. He claimed that dude's son might be Dave Free.
First of all,
So
you guys
come
are
on,
with the
man.
revisionist history.
Stop,
Y'all are with the revisionist history.
Stop.
But we're coming
Stop
up on
the
a year
cap.
since this all even happened, which
It was already?
we'll have to get a little thing together.
It's already
for
been
that.
a year almost.
Almost, yeah. But in about 3 weeks.
Stop the cap.
So, but listen, here's the thing about this. A lot of people said that Drake should have never even brought this case, okay? A lot of people said that. And they were talking about nothing was going to happen. He was going to lose this case and all of this other stuff. And people were talking smack about him. But this is a win, like she said in this video. Okay, independent source person just talking about it. Probably doesn't even know much about Drake or Kendrick, right? But like she said, this is a win for them, okay? Because, even UMG just had their own motion that they tried to put up against Drake, saying that they should just strike it down. They asked the judge to strike this down. I think it's a huge win, and I think that it just shows again that even though people deem Kendrick as the winner of the battle, Drake is going to win the war ultimately. And so that's all that matters at the end of the day, is that people get to see the truth now. Now we get to look at everything. I mean, they have access to his contract, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But not only that, UMG, they're trying to settle this contract now. They're trying to settle it. They're trying to ask Drake to take $250 million to settle it so that they don't even have to deal with it, okay? And so that to me is a dub. It's a win all around because they know what they did. They know that they tried to bring down the GOAT. Okay, they know what they did. They tried to bring down the GOAT, and they lost. They couldn't do it. Now they're offering him $250 million. And if I was Drake, I wouldn't even take that money.
Who tried to bring
I
him
want
down?
$1 billion.
UGM?
I want $1 billion. UGM.
UGM or
Yeah.
Kendrick? Who
What?
tried to bring him down? UGM or Kendrick? Or
UGM.
both?
Kendrick is not that big of a player. That's what you guys have to realize.
Also, too, think about it.
It's Drake
If
versus
Drake-
UMG.
Regardless of all the rhetoric they sit back and forth in their lyrics, right?
Yeah.
If Drake won this battle, will this lawsuit still been there?
If Drake had won the battle,
Yeah, would this lawsuit still been there?
I think it still would have been there.
Man, no.
Because
please.
yes,
No, it
because
wouldn't.
here's what people don't talk about. It's
No, it
like,
wouldn't.
remember, Drake has been in other rap beefs. A lot of people deemed him to have lost to Kanye's guy. What was that guy's name? Pusha T. A lot of people deemed him to have lost to Pusha T. Did he sue when he lost that rap battle?
'Cause there's two different labels.
No, I'm
They
listen.
went on the same
Let's
label.
be honest.
There's two different
No,
labels.
but answer that question. Did he sue when he did that? No. Okay. Did he sue
But-
when he was going up against McMill? No. Okay. So what are we talking about?
Because he
here?
won the battle.
What are we
the
talking
beef,
about?
He won the beef with Meek Mill.
Okay, but
and the
he,
Pusha
but
T
a lot of
stuff,
people say that he lost to Pusha T.
No, I mean, but even with the Pusha T one, that didn't draw.
Nah.
That didn't draw as much as this Kendrick beef.
Pusha T hit
the-
him
but the
harder
Pusha-
though. He actually had real evidence.
Pusha T, yeah, look,
He had real evidence.
the Pusha T one,
Okay.
yeah, that hit him hard too, right? Or did it? I mean, I don't know. But I do know that Drake came back with some stuff, some hard stuff. And then Jay Prince told Pusha T,
Yeah,
don't.
of
No,
course.
I think, he told
I know what
Drake,
you're talking
don't
about.
respond.
Yeah.
I think he told Drake, he said, Drake, just let that go. Don't
Yeah.
respond to that stuff. Don't wall in the mud. So that's why people, that what they had, how many diss tracks? Maybe one or two a piece or something. That ain't nothing compared to this,
Well, I mean, listen. Again, we have the history of other rap beefs that people have said that he's lost. Okay, and he did not sue for those.
Only one I really know about is this one with Kendrick.
Here's the
He
truth.
lost.
He had a contract, and he was asking for way more money than what UMG wanted to pay him.
Who Drake was?
Yes. That's what you know. This is how this all started.
So
UMG did not want to pay Drake the money for his new contract. So while they're in these negotiations, all of a sudden this rap beef pops up. And now you have people like Kendrick damaging Drake's reputation. Not only that, they got everybody. I mean, like, you know, I don't have to say it again. But it was like all these rap. I was like, dang,
so that's
all
the
of these
conspiracy.
People,
So
even have Future out there.
The conspiracy is
It's not a conspiracy.
They don't want to. Hold on.
Everything I just said was fact.
Well, hold on.
Okay, there is
Meaning, okay, the factual part is he got a contract.
He's in a contract negotiation.
Yeah, then they didn't want to honor it.
They did not want to give him as much money as he's worth.
So then he didn't have if he's in negotiation, that means he doesn't have a contract signed, right?
Yeah, it wasn't signed.
Okay. Then now
it's like being a free agent.
Okay, now
basketball or
pretty
football.
much now the conspiracy part I'm saying of that is now the fact that him and Kendrick got into this rap beef, which you can disagree or not. Even if you think Kendrick started it, which I kind of feel Drake started, even if he didn't, he poured gasoline on it. So he took it away above and beyond. So then you're saying UGM is now looking at the fact that, oh, you lost this rap beef. We don't want to pay you the money that you feel that you're owed.
Right. They were trying to get his numbers down, his streaming numbers and all that stuff down, so they could be like, well, look at your streaming numbers now. Look at all these sales now.
But the streaming numbers are still high.
Exactly. Well, they were betting on. You're making my point right now. They were betting on the rap beef, and all of these other rappers coming after him on taking him down.
No.
And the bet did not work. Not only was he the most streamed rapper last year, every single month except December, but he's already Nokia, the song that we're talking about in a second here, is already reached over 100 million streams. And their album that he did with Party Next Door, that's already a success. And and it's probably already a classic.
Drake is the highest stream rap artist, correct?
Yes.
Okay, see, this is my whole point. This is what I'm saying. You think I don't like Drake. I never said I don't like Drake. Like, you like to state facts. Facts is facts. He lost the battle. He lost the rap battle.
Yeah.
Does he put out more music than Kendrick? Yes, he does. He does put out some bangers. I like some of his songs. That's why I kept saying, even if he just lost the rap battle he gonna be all right. He's all right now. He's still winning, even though he lost the rap battle. He's still. People are not going to totally be like, oh, we ain't listen to him no more.
Drake did not lose.
So
Drake won the rap battle.
Yeah, and you're a Dallas Cowgirls
and he's going to win the war.
That's enough said. You think y'all
he
going
won
to
the
Super
battle
Bowl
and
every
he's going
year,
to win the war. So
yeah,
UMG, you ain't got nothing on this man. Kendrick, you ain't got nothing on this man.
Drake will be all right, man.
What this shows me though, one of the biggest things before we move on to the Nokia music video. Kendrick is looked at now as such a small player in this thing. And it just, to me, it damaged Kendrick a little bit more.
That's only in your mind.
No, it damaged Kendrick more. It damaged
look at him as a small
Kendrick
player.
more in this whole thing. Because I think it kind of exposed that he doesn't really have as much as people thought he had. You know what I mean? We saw the catalog. He doesn't have that much of a catalog either.
Was Drake out longer than Kendrick, right?
No, they were out around the same time. Kendrick might have even been before Drake, but Drake became big.
I remember knowing about
They were around
Drake,
the same time.
But when he was with Young Money and all that, I remember knowing about Drake.
Yeah, but I mean,
Kendrick.
back then, I think
doing collabs
Kendrick
with
was
Lil
around.
Wayne and Nicki and all that.
Kendrick was
I'm not
around.
saying he wasn't around, but he probably didn't really have no hits like that.
Well,
he wasn't radio. Maybe he might have been around. Maybe he wasn't getting radio play.
Thank you.
At the time.
By the way, he makes another
that's what I'm
point
saying
about
is, of course, dude got a catalog.
Drake put Kendrick on because Kendrick wasn't that big back then, and Kendrick had to come on to Drake's tour.
What song
Drake
did
helped
Drake
him out.
put Kendrick on that he blew up?
I can't even remember. So
because it ain't none. It ain't none. That's why you can't remember.
No, listen, I can go find the Kendrick. You haven't even seen the Kendrick videos of him saying Drake put me on, and so it's all good though. Let's talk about the Nokia music video. This Nokia music video is blowing up. Drake just put it out with the song. Again, the song reached over 100 million streams. First song to do that this year. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people love the imagery of the music video. He's basically like dancing around. A lot of people were saying that he's kind of making fun of Kendrick in some of the parts of the video. And he's going with the Nokia phone, right? Obviously, a lot of people can see that, but he's using a lot of the imagery from the Nokia phone. Like at the beginning when he's like standing in between the walls, there's like a snake, and that's kind of like there was a game that you could play on the Nokia phone that was kind of like the snake. Yeah, a lot of people were saying that's also in reference to the fact that Drake has like a lot of snakes around him. Because, you know, all the people that turned on him.
Drake has a lot of snakes around him?
Because of the people that turned on him.
Well,
and
people are going to read into it the same way they read in the Kendrick music videos, too. I don't even think, do they even still make Nokia phones?
No.
I'm about to say, I know, and I've never seen a Nokia phone wasn't like, no. I mean, this is before you had.
Yeah, before you had iPhones.
Before you had iPhone, you had
Nokia.
Yeah, those were your regular, what do you call them? They weren't like of course, definitely not touchscreen, but
yeah,
it was just your basic phone.
Cell phone.
Yeah.
It wasn't a flip phone.
You couldn't play no video games on a Nokia phone.
Yeah, but again, they had like the Snake game and a
on
few
Nokia?
other games. Yeah, on the Nokia. You don't remember? Yeah, maybe you didn't play that. I was young enough to be playing that.
I don't remember.
I played that Snake game. Yeah.
On a Nokia.
Mm-hmm. You just follow like the dots, if I remember correctly, and like you just take the snake and eat all the dots or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, you know, it was a good game. But yeah, a lot of people. I don't know if you remember the end of Not Like Us, where Kendrick had the bird.
Yeah, the owl in the cage.
The owl in the cage.
Yep.
And so in this music video, if you look towards the end,
yeah, I saw the owl.
So a lot of people were saying that was like in reference to that. And this one, it shows the owls are basically free.
Yeah.
They're no longer.
I think that's a good concept.
Yeah.
I mean, the video to me is like it doesn't look like a bad video. I mean, of course, I'm not looking at all the references. The way it was shot, I think it was pretty good black and white video. It has some good reference in it. It's like a dance track to me. That's why I look at it. But I'm sure some people are going to read into it deeper who are OVO heads like yourself.
Yeah, we have to move on. But the music video, to me, was great. And it comes at a moment where Drake is at the top. And after all of this stuff that's already happened, again, it's almost like when you try to beat down on somebody, but they show their greatness by being able to rise above. And this is just the icing on the cake right here. I mean, like the music video, he's just chilling, you know, hanging back. And this is classic Drake, because what is Drake all about? The people that really listen to his music know that he's about nostalgia and thinking about the past. And the fact that he has like the Nokia phone, you know, and it's like, when you think about that, it's really great. And this wasn't even one of my favorite songs on the album. Again, I'm not one of the people who are like, oh yeah, the hits. Like to me, like, you know, there's other songs that I just like better.
Dang.
I even like Give Me a Hug better than this song. But, you know, I think, you know, this song is good. And I think, again, Drake's at the top right now, and this is just shows off his greatness.
You make it sound like he gonna get an Oscar for this music video.
No, they're not gonna give him a Grammy. That's Kendrick. If Kendrick had done this though, they would have been giving him. They would have broke the records in the Grammys. But because it's Drake, they ain't gonna give him the Grammy.
For the visuals, you think they're gonna give Drake an Oscar for that music video?
No, they're not gonna give him. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to talk about. We didn't even talk about this.
What's
the
that?
music video was shot in IMAX.
Oh, well.
They use IMAX cameras for the music video.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
they even
probably
showed
why
it.
Looks so good.
Yeah, and they even showed it in the theater. How did I not talk about that? Yeah, Drake's music video Nokia was shot in IMAX, which is crazy. I mean, us as filmmakers, we can kind of appreciate that.
Yeah, I wonder
you know?
how much he paid for that.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna look into some of the behind the scenes for that, because it was, you know, I mean, you could tell the visuals are there, the way that the camera movements, the different things that they have there.
It looked good.
Yeah.
Real quick off something before we jump. IMAX. That movie Ryan Coogler's Sinners, that's shot in IMAX.
Yeah, I know.
I want to see that.
Yeah, I
wanna
definitely.
see that.
We should do a movie review right here.
We should.
You know, and talk
Yeah.
about all that. So.
Yeah, we definitely should do that.
All right. Well, next we got to talk about Trump.
My boy.
The stock market has been up and down, and Trump has been doing these tariffs, and it's kind of sent a lot of people in a tailspin. People like Dave Portnoy is talking about how he's lost like $20 million, and all of these rich people talking about they've lost a lot of money. And the tariffs, a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people are going crazy over it. But what's interesting is that like Kamala has come out and she's basically said, hey, I told you so.
Yeah.
You know, and so a lot of people are talking about all this stuff. And it seems like Trump he's not really going to waver off of these tariffs. And so I do want to play this clip from the speaker for the White House, and then we'll talk about it.
President, when America is punched, he punches back harder. That's why there will be 104% tariffs going into effect on China tonight at midnight. The president,
All right, so he's still talking about raising tariffs on people like China even higher. And a lot of people are making fun of some of the countries that he's put on that list.
That have no population?
Yeah, that have no population. But, you know, I mean, people who really know that the reason why he's doing that is because people are using those as like, you know, proxies. I do want to play this about the Dow Jones and the stock market, and then we'll talk about this real quick.
All right. The markets have just opened and are rebounding this morning after a 3-day sell-off fueled by President Trump's tariffs.
I don't know if I haven't spoken to anybody, Joe Mika, that is calling this a bottom with any kind of certainty. No one's saying mission accomplished yet, but it's certainly a reprieve. Now, the Dow over the last 3 days prior has lost roughly, call it 4,200 points, right? So you're talking about 1,000-point gain so far this morning. It's a fraction of what we lost in the last 3 days, but it's a reprieve, and it's a welcome one for anyone that owns stocks. Frankly,
But you have information about stocks right now.
Well, yeah. Well, I looked at Yahoo Finance, and they were saying how the stock market today, the Dow Jones sinks 300 points, and SP 500 near bear markets as Trump tariffs keeps rolling. So the U.S. stock market tumbled in the afternoon trading on Tuesday and ended sharply lower with SP 500 narrowly avoiding a bear market after the White House said it plans to move forward on a threat to bring the overall tariffs rate to China to 104%, which we just heard.
Right.
That the tariffs rate will go into effect at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So,
Well, there you go.
yep, man. So, and then please believe China going to retaliate.
They'll have their own reciprocal tariffs.
Yeah.
And actually, I just heard that China is thinking about taking Hollywood out of China, basically, not letting us use their markets for our movies, which is crazy. That would actually take out a lot of money that filmmakers get from having their movie in that country.
Yeah.
Crazy times.
And I've even heard that China, they were saying that because they have the technology of our goods, they will remake the same thing. Because, you know, they always say a lot of bootleg come from China. They say we will make them just as good as yours and sell them for like 5 cents on the dollar. That'll definitely hurt the American market too.
Yeah.
With products. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the same thing they did to Elon with the Tesla.
All right. Well, what do you think of these tariffs? Do you think it's a bad idea to tariff all of these countries and to really go after all of the other markets?
For the economy wise, it looks like it's a bad idea to go after all these other markets with these tariffs. You know, someone raised a point, but he isn't putting tariffs on Russia. So, I mean, I don't know. You know, he's not putting tariffs on Russia. Yeah, just on everybody else. And I think one thing it will definitely do is we will lose a lot of allies, especially if they start banding together. We definitely lose a lot of allies. And even with that, we hurt our economy, we also hurt their economy as well. But then with the stock market going low.
Economy everywhere.
Everywhere's
all
going,
the
yeah.
countries
All
are,
the countries.
down. So
yeah.
Stock
And then with the stock market being low, I mean, which is messed up because my stock's in the toilet. But really, if you know the stock market, even though these millionaires and billionaires are losing money, they're going to keep buying. Because eventually, once the tariffs stop, then the market will it will gradually, fix itself and go back up. It depends on the economy, what other nations' economy and our economy. But they're definitely going to keep buying stocks. They're going to buy when they're low. And that's usually what a lot of the billionaires do. Do something to sink the market, then buy it dirt cheap. Maybe like, anywhere between 100% to 200% on their profits, then sell it and make money.
Yeah.
Is your stocks in the toilet?
No, I mean, I'm not in the stock market. And I think a lot of regular people aren't. And so I think a lot of people are worried about a recession. Like a lot of regular people are worried about recession. But there's a lot of people who aren't in the stock market.
No, there's a lot. I just saw a thing with Robinhood CEO.
And then the people who are in the stock market, I mean, they're not like, it's not like they have like millions of dollars.
It's not heavy hitter.
Like you can be in the stock market and just do like, I don't know, like you can do $100 in the stock market. So I mean, like, there aren't that many people who are in it, and so I think this isn't really affecting that many like people that don't have that much money. Now, of course, people have their 401ks. And you have people who have, retirement accounts,
money market
accounts,
things.
exactly,
CDs. Yeah, the stock market affects all that.
So I mean, like, there's some people like that, but I mean, like, they're the regular people who are going to work and stuff like that.
Well, to answer,
it's not as big as
it's not. Of course, it's not as big, but
if we go into a recession,
things with like Robinhood and Acorn that makes it accessible. Even Fidelity now, they took the same playbook of a Robinhood. Because one time the stock market, you had to have a broker. You got to pay your brokerage fee to buy, sell, regardless whatever you're doing. But now the stock market is at your fingertips now because of these computers we walk around with every day.
Yeah.
So Robinhood has
a
lot of. But no, I get what you're saying.
How much have you lost?
Big.
Have you lost millions?
Come on, I'm not a millionaire.
Okay.
But dude, I've lost a couple of thousand, but still, still, I'm just a regular working class person.
Right, exactly.
That's still, and at the same time, we still trying to get ahead. Even as something as simple like when they did the market with GameStop, when they drove that up.
Yeah.
And then the hedge funds were betting to tank it. But the people got together and they drove it up. And then now some of these same people got those stocks. They made 50, 60,000. You ain't gonna make that on a regular job sometimes. At least see all that. Of course, you still gotta pay capital gains, but some people ain't gonna see that. When they just regular folks like us. You know what I'm saying? And then you got like the hedge funds and even Robinhood. They stop you from. You could sell it, but they wouldn't let you buy no more stocks. So but you still have a good bit of people in the regular household, a few thousands. Granted, it may not be like the millionaires, but still.
Yeah, I mean it's not as big as, but there are people who have the retirement accounts, which a lot of those accounts are like long-term investments. Like
that's usually how it is.
They're playing the long game instead of playing like the short game. For a lot of the people who are playing the short game, they probably lost a lot of money. But, the people who are playing the long game, over years, they'll be fine. But there's a lot of people who are close to retirement who've lost a lot of money for their retirement, or people who are in retirement who still have money. And
you still lose money in the long game, too. Only difference between you and a day trader is you're not cashing out now. You're not constantly flipping profits.
Right.
That's the only difference.
But, I mean, ultimately, I think it goes back to nobody knows if these tariffs are going to work. And
that is
so
true.
To me, it's just right now we're playing a risky game. And I don't really like what Trump is trying to do with this risky game. And, I've been one of the biggest critics of Biden, and ultimately I was right about that, right? A lot of people are starting to admit that. And, I think when I look at Trump right now, it's like, I mean, I'm close to being, gung ho about him too. Like actually, like going after him, not gung ho. That's that's the wrong word. No. But I mean, like I'm about to go after him. But we have to remember that this is only 4 months in, right, or whatever it is. Not even.
Yeah.
Like what is it?
Like 3 months and something.
Yeah.
Or whatever, something
I mean,
like
he's only like he's only
came
had
in
it.
January.
Yeah, he's only had it since January, but he's been around and like making deals and trying to do things, since he got, he was the president-elect, and so I think it's interesting, but I think we do have to give it some time.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be the same way I was about Biden if this stuff continues. I'm gonna be the same way about Trump because I'm objective up here. So,
I'm not a Trump supporter. By no means, but at the end of the day, he's everybody's president. Whether you disagree or agree with the tariffs or not, like you said, maybe not work. But I want it to some degree to work because at least at a better, even though we can't see the end game, more likely it may not work. Because if it doesn't work, you're going to put us that. It's going to be that detrimental to the economy.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you almost got to kind of root for him to some degree. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to be that.
A lot of people wouldn't say that. A lot of people.
That is true. That's true, and I get it.
They don't want to root for him.
I get it.
A lot of people want to see him fail.
I'm not true.
I think there's a lot of Democrats. Look at what Kamala said.
Yeah.
She said, "I told you so." There's a lot of Democrats that want to say, "I told you so."
There's some truth to what she said?
What?
What Kamala said? Kamala saying?
What, the recession thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I think like
what she said
because of what's happening in the stock market, it looks like it,
with
right?
the economy, like what she said.
Whether we go into a recession or not is like another thing.
I'm not rooting for Trump per se, and that's not to say that I want to see him fail. But you really got to think about it. If he fails, we fail. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then they're getting rid of all the student loan forgiveness, even though Biden didn't really get a chance to look up everybody like how he said he was. But they're just going to tank American economy. It's going to tank, man.
Well, we'll see. I mean, like I said, I think we need to give him a little more time.
Well, yeah, you're going to have to.
But here's the thing, and I think America's going to do this ultimately. When it comes to the midterms, they're going to be voted out. Like if this continues and we go into a recession and all this other stuff happens, they're going to vote him out. Just as soon as, just as soon as he got in there, right?
Yeah.
So like when the midterms come up, people are going to vote against them. And then, when the presidency happens.
And they're going to realize that, he truly didn't have America's interests. It's only the billionaires and himself.
Yeah.
Because they say in his cabinet he got a bunch of billionaires on in his cabinet. So
bunch
that go to show you, so the economy ain't going to affect them. Yeah. And even though the stock market is tanking, like I said earlier, all they're going to do is just buy more stocks dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And come out on top. So
30 seconds. What do you think of this third term that he keeps talking about him doing? And who do you think would win, him versus Biden, versus Obama?
Him versus Obama?
Yeah.
Like you said, if he keeps tanking everything, Obama definitely be a shoo-in. But Obama definitely won't run. So,
well, if there was a third term.
Yeah, but Obama won't run again.
You don't think he will run again?
No.
Why not?
Obama's wife didn't want him to run the second time.
Okay.
And he said, Obama did an interview and he said that, he got some deficit in his marriage with his wife. So now that he's not in office, he's able to spend more time, and she didn't care for that. You know what I mean?
So you don't think he would run at all?
No, he wouldn't run it. But if he keeps tanking, then it's safe to say the Democrats would have a leg up to win the next election. But say if he tanks and then it kinds of balance itself out, and the Democrat Party still so undivided, I think a Republican will be back in there again. Yeah.
I don't know if people are going to vote Republican again. I think
they weren't supposed to vote Republican this time, but you see what happened.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, it's interesting. But we got to move on. We're going to talk about the NCAA tournament. Who do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the girls.
Okay.
Because I watched the girls.
The USC women went up against the UConn women.
Yeah.
And basically, the UConn women blew them out.
Blew them out.
I mean, it was when I saw that final score, because I didn't watch the game, I was just like, dang.
Blew them out.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
That was what they did to them in the season when they played them in February. I was like, my goodness. You know, the matchup, of course, UConn, they just was hitting on all cylinders, man. They couldn't stop them. They didn't have anything for them. Me personally, I think that, I think Don Staley, just as a rotation, to put the three bigs in, then put in two guards to see how that matchup will work, and then, just change it out, change it. Because I was wondering if UConn would have run out of gas towards the end, but, man, they didn't run out of anything, man. Big up the Paige Beckers, man. UConn deserve it. They came to play. And they showed up and showed out, man. And now Paige Beckers is about to go into the WNBA.
Yeah, she's about to be a star.
Number one draft in the WNBA. And, this is UConn's 12th championship.
Oh, okay.
This is their 12th. And guess who they lost to? Gino, yep.
Or Riema.
Yep,
Yeah.
Guess who they lost? They would have had, they've been there, this is their 14th time going. Mm-hmm. They won 2. No, I'm sorry. This is their 13th time. This is their 13th time going to championship. They have won 11, and out of 13, they won 11. They went 12 times. Well, this is their 13th time. Correct that. So now they done won 12, right? Out of the 13. Who do you think they lost to when they lost the championship?
Tennessee.
Nope.
Who they lose to?
South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
The Gamecocks.
Got you.
They lost to the Gamecocks. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to get that final score. It's actually 82-59 was the final score. So it was,
dude.
It's a bloodbath.
That's what it looked like when they played them. And in the Final Four, all the teams were in the Final Four was all top contenders. Every team in the Final Four was the team that beat South Carolina. Texas, UCLA.
That's right, my women.
And of course UConn.
Yeah.
All three of them teams beat South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Got you. So yeah, but UConn was victorious.
Yeah.
And South Carolina, they didn't really have a star, and so I think that's ultimately what it comes down to now. You got to have somebody who's I mean, let's be honest. Come on, can we be honest?
I disagree.
All right, who's their star player?
They all are stars.
Oh my God.
That's the thing, dude. No. Listen. This is why South Carolina.
I'm not trying to be mean.
This is why South Carolina is so good. This is why. At any given, and
they lost.
But see, you don't listen to the commentating.
Okay, go ahead.
You don't listen to the commentating, right?
Go ahead.
In South Carolina, the bench alone can come out and score. They score 30-something points.
I know, but you need a star.
No. Listen. You don't need one particular star to shine out.
Okay, who is their number one?
They have all of them. The rookies. Well, I say the
freshmen.
The freshmen. Well, one freshman, Joyce Edwards. Then you got Malaysia Fawad, the sophomore. Then Chloe Kiss, the senior. She have a good game, right? Then you have Malaysia Fawad. I'm sorry. Then sometimes you will have Tina Papa popping threes. She's a senior.
Okay.
Then Chloe Kitts, who's a sophomore. That's why South Carolina was so great, because they said on any given night, anybody can shine.
But they lost to a star. Her name is Paige Beckers. And
you
got to have a star.
Paige, no.
Who have been the last? All right,
Paige Beckers didn't shine, didn't get all the points like she did.
She didn't even get the MVP.
No, because it was doggone AZ Fudd and Strong.
Yep.
Because they put that D on. Don't get me wrong, Paige did her thing. Mm-hmm. They put that D on it because they know most of the ball rotations going through Paige Becker. AZ Fudd stepped up, which was a easy putt. They couldn't touch her. She was lighting them up. And then you had Strong they didn't worry about one particular star. No, I'm not saying that a team don't need a star, but Carolina's strength is everybody can shine. Like what USC, who are you know other than Juju? Who else you know?
Nobody.
See, exactly. UCLA, who are you know other than Betts?
I couldn't tell you.
Exactly. And what did UConn do? They shut Betts down.
Okay.
Nobody else couldn't step up and do anything. Now, granted,
That's a good point.
UConn whipped South Carolina ass, but I ain't gonna lie to you. They beat the brakes off some girls, boy. But
Who won the championship last year?
South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, undefeated.
Who did they have on their team last year?
They had last year. They had everybody. They had Camila Cardoza, the 6.
They had her
center. Yeah.
Okay, a star.
Yeah, 6'7". But no, she wasn't their top star.
Who won the
team.
before that? LSU.
LSU won. Angel Reese and
A star.
Starjay.
Who won it before that?
Angel Reese and Flau'jae. Who won it before that?
I'm just
Who won
saying.
it before that?
Most
South
of the
Carolina.
time,
South
when they
Carolina.
win, it's a star. And this year, Paige Beckers.
They have
So
stars.
there
They
you go.
have multiple stars. They have multiple stars on their team.
I
Multiple stars on
know.
their
It's
team,
like
yeah.
you're giving like the little.
No,
what do you
dude, that's
call that?
how they break it down in the thing. They said, look, you don't got to worry about one person. They said
Everybody's
that's their
a
strength.
star.
That's what their strength. They can anybody, any given day,
Everybody's
anybody
a
can
star.
go off. Anybody can go off.
It's all good.
That's the strength. See what I'm saying? You want that one LeBron. You
That's
want
what
that
it
one
is.
Kobe.
That's what
that all the
drives the
things run to
sport.
it.
That's what drives the
No,
sport, man. You got to have a number one.
No, you don't.
If you don't have a number one.
No, you don't. These teams just happen to recruit somebody who just happened to shine. They say, oh, let's go after this person, which I get it because this person is very good. But then they don't do enough recruitment to get other people who are just as good.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody around, all they do is compliment that one particular star. So
Right.
what happens? When Juju got hurt, nobody else was able to step up and do nothing. When you got multiple people on an even playing field who can shine any day, any night,
I know.
you got to rely on one person.
But UFC probably would have gone far if
I think so, too.
If they had
I
stayed
do
with
think
him.
so, too.
I think ultimately, I don't know who was in the brackets.
Yeah,
But it probably
I
would have came down to Paige Beckers versus
South Carolina. You mean no.
Paige
USC
Beckers
had to
versus-
play. They had to play USC.
Oh, okay.
And last year, but then this is the thing. Last year, UConn beat USC with Juju.
Okay.
They beat them. Yeah, but then
Got you.
Iowa came and put UConn out
Right.
with Paige Beckers.
Yeah.
And Caitlin couldn't really get off. But she was smart. She passed the rock around, and everybody else stepped
Got to have
up.
a star. I was kidding. All right.
You do got to have a star.
Let's talk the
You're right.
men's.
You do gotta
Let's
have
talk
a
about the
star.
men's side. Florida beat Houston. I didn't really watch that one, but I did
didn't
see the
really
final
watch some of
play.
that. I watched a little bit.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
Honestly, I really don't care about the men's stuff. It's not exciting. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know who was in the championship.
Yeah.
When Duke played Houston, and that was a big upset. Of course, everybody's Duke was favored, and Florida. I've never seen. I used to watch more college basketball when I was in high school. Getting up older, I kind of got away from it to some degree. I've never seen where Florida or Houston was in the championship. It's either Gonzaga, Tar Heels, Duke, maybe Maryland was up there. Maryland, your Georgia Techs, your Michigan. You know, I'm used to Wake Forest. You don't even see Georgetown.
Yeah,
Anything
you don't
like
see
that
Georgetown
anymore. You
anymore.
know, or
That's true.
Syracuse barely. You know,
Yeah,
And I
Syracuse.
remember coming up, you used to see Georgetown, Syracuse, all of them.
Yeah.
You don't even see these guys no more.
I know what you mean. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm actually used to Florida being around. Yeah, because
You are?
the reason why I know specifically is because every time UCLA would get close, Florida would beat us.
Would beat you.
And actually, it was like 3 years in a row.
What is
That was
what?
back when
Is that-
Kevin Love and Westbrook
Kevin
and all
Love.
those guys were playing for UCLA.
Was that like? Yeah. Was that like
And,
Sweet 16 or?
We
just
used
the
to
tour- the
lose
tournament?
in the Final Four every year to them. And I think
Oh,
one
okay.
time we went to the championship and played against them and
But
lost
see,
against
what
them.
year you talking about? That's like
That was back when Joakim Noah was with
Joakim
Florida. Horford.
That's in 2000s, right?
Yeah, it was in the 2000s.
See, I'm talking about in 1990.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
You're talking about
90
Georgetown from back in the
Yeah,
day when they
93,
had
93, 90.
all those good players.
Yeah. Patrick Ewing and all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm thinking about that way.
And I mean, even
Well, not that far back, but
Georgetown a
still.
few years ago was pretty good with Roy Hibbert and some of those guys. I mean,
The last time
They
you
had a
really
good
heard
team.
about Georgetown, when at least to my knowledge, was Iverson.
okay.
I
No,
mean-
Roy Hibbert had a good run too. I mean, like, they were big time.
He was after
with
Iverson,
him.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
yeah. He
that's
was way
when I
after him.
kind of, by that time, I kind of fell off college basketball and kind of went more so into college football.
Yeah.
Back then, I was more so into college basketball.
That's all I
and
watch now.
football.
So
I'm
not with the basketball. I'm not with NBA basketball. I'm not with.
A lot of people don't really watch
basketball
NBA
to me now is just like it's kind of
lame.
It's a lame game.
It's lame,
yeah,
man.
that's the best way to put it.
It's lame.
It's a lame game. It's the people aren't tough like they used to be.
No, you don't.
And so like now it's just kind of, I don't know. I mean, it's a.
I think I know what it is. You just tired of seeing people shooting threes or nobody want to drive to the paint.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the low fouls, the flops, and stuff like that.
I remember Hansborough in North Carolina. That man used to get down low, and he would always have the bloody nose. You remember that guy? He would always have a bloody nose because, they was really getting down and going low and fighting.
The ref wasn't calling everything, every little touch.
Yeah, exactly. And basketball has just become, to me, it's kind of soft. And also it feels a little rigged a little bit too, so I don't really pay attention to basketball as much. I mean, these players don't even play most of the time. Speaking of the NBA.
Rig a little bit, man. You don't do sports betting.
No, I don't.
I do a couple of sports betting. Oh my God.
You big into that?
Man, I kind of fell off now, but man, you got a little bit rigged. Man, that thing, man, that thing is a lot of bit rigged. At least I think, from my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. One dude to shoot, he averaged shooting like in a game 5 threes, 6 threes, and this time you put money on him, he only do 2 threes, and now he come out the game. You know, my opinion, hey man, that's enough. They look at Vegas, what the stats is, and they pull them out, man. I think it's rigged a lot, me personally.
Dang. Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, we'll see what happens with the NBA because, it's heating up now. The Lakers are actually looking really, really good. So
yeah, you know why?
I've been trying to keep up with it a little bit. Well, even before Luka, we were doing pretty good.
Yeah, y'all doing pretty good, but y'all look even better.
Yeah, I mean, now it's like we might go for a title.
Because with LeBron was even sitting out of games, wasn't he, or something like that? Was he hurt or did he just sit out games?
I mean, I don't know what he was doing. Earlier this year, I guess he is trying to,
trying to rest or something? Or?
No, he might have had some stuff behind the scenes going on. Because he, left for, a couple weeks or something, or, a week.
And that's after you guys got Luka, right?
No, that was before.
I thought he sat out some games after y'all got Luka, too.
He might have. Yeah. I know he hurt his thumb the other night, so.
Yeah, something.
But, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about this last subject. This is kind of a bonus topic. On TikTok, a lot of people have been talking about black men not going to college. And it's been this whole discourse about how black men are kind of behind and they're kind of failing and they're not doing anything with their lives. And on the opposite of that, black women are excelling.
Entrepreneurs.
A lot of, there's looking at the percentages, I think it was 20%, only 20% of black men are college educated or something like that. And then 60% of black women are. And so a lot of people have been talking about a lot of that, but a lot of people don't realize that a lot of black men go into trades and do different things of that nature. What are your thoughts about that? And particularly, what do you think? Why do you think black men aren't going to traditional college and trying to get a 4-year degree and stuff?
Because look at the economy. When we wasn't at a recession, your bachelor's degree didn't matter. That's like having an associate's at one time. And I think a lot of black men, college is not the only way to make a living. A lot of black people the army is not maybe majority black, but I think they got more black people in the army itself than per capita versus white people. From our but a lot of black people are not college and in college debt, but you do have some black people who go to college. Of course, definitely way more women, but not a lot of women going in trades. Some are now, but not a lot of women going in trades. The way things, some women aren't trying to be plumbers, welders. Some doing it, not a lot, what I'm saying. But they're not trying to be electricians. And at the end of the day, you still need these things. You still need them. These are to me, some of these people are essential workers.
Yeah,
You know,
and you can
they are
make a good
essential
living
workers. You can
being a
make a
plumber,
exactly,
electrician, all that stuff.
and you can
like
have your own.
HVAC.
Yeah, exactly. You can
So-
have your own business. You don't necessarily have to go to college. And some black people are going to the military. And then nowadays, to be honest with you, even with the younger ones I see, they making bank off of this
Yeah.
social media. You know, and they don't teach this in college.
Yeah.
You know, and then college, like, you know.
But I think we're talking about the black men that people are okay with like what they do. I think a lot of people are looking at the black men who are trying to be a rapper or trying to be an athlete
But that's
or
not
trying
a
to do
lot, though.
all of these other
Athlete
things.
maybe, but not rapper.
Yeah.
That's a small percentage. That's not.
You think
every
so?
black- Yeah.
You don't think it's that big of a
No,
percentage
no,
of
no, no. Trying to be a rapper? Nah. That's,
What about
that's
the
a small-
ones who are like at mom's house playing video games, not really
You
doing
know what?
anything
You know
with
what's
their life?
You know what's
that kind of
crazy?
thing?
They make a lot of money off playing video games too.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Okay.
It's just dude, and you know this. You play video games. They make a lot of money. I've seen when I'm going out cutting hair, and I see my buddy. I'm cutting his hair, and I cut his son's hair, and I'm like, yo, and I just seen they sitting there. I'm thinking, cause I'm oblivious. Y'all playing the video game? He said, no, we was watching somebody play the game, and I'm like, dang. And they just sitting there watching them, and this dude is getting streams. They making money.
Yeah.
They making bank, man. You know, off of social media is many avenues that you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, you know. And I can get it. Somebody like my parent, I think you wasting your time. Even maybe me, because video games were just for fun when I was coming up. It wasn't a way to make, because we didn't have social media. But
Yeah,
it was
you
a way
couldn't
to
make no money on
you
it.
you
Yeah.
couldn't make no. Dude, they even have, they have teams now, like
Oh, yeah.
a basketball team that they play like NBA.
And it's a tournament.
It's a tournament, yeah.
And they can like win a huge prize and do all kinds
Exactly,
of stuff. So.
and they be together like we gotta practice.
Yeah.
They literally like I'm like, and it's all video games. You know,
Right.
you can make money off a lot of things nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all the points that you brought up are very valid. And, something that, because I've thought about doing more college because, I kind of went into a trade, right? Both of us. I mean, kind of, but like.
Technical skill, actually.
Yeah, it's like a technical skill.
Yeah.
So didn't really go to like a 4-year college to get my bachelor's.
Yeah.
But I think what a lot of people don't bring up is that doing that, going and trying to get your bachelor's and your master's and your doctorate can leave you hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
Big time.
And so for me, that was one of the biggest things for me is I was like, I don't want to be in tons of debt and like sitting there and half of my paycheck, even if I may be making a good amount, is going to
pay
student loans and all
loans,
this other stuff. And so that's kind of one of the reasons. But also, in my business, you can make a living doing that without a degree or anything like that, you know, like what we work in the film industry. And so I think a lot of people are kind of just glossing over that and not really thinking about that. But, there are a lot of men, I think, who are lost. And I think those are the people who they're talking about more so, is that the ones that are at home not really doing anything, who are trying to be a rapper or something like that. Like those guys, I feel like could step it up. Yeah. But, nobody knows people's situation and how they grew up and how people deal with different things. And so when you put all of that in and you encompass it, I mean, I think we need to have some compassion for some of the stuff that people are going through.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're talking about black men, you have to have some compassion for the black experience and what it's like to be black in America and to grow up with that. And so it's not easy. So that's what I think about
easy, but like even what you said to go back about the rappers, like like my little nephews.
Yeah, my nephew definitely wants to be a rapper.
But the thing is, it's more attainable to them than it was for me coming up. Yeah. In my day, we didn't have, so you had to sign to a major label.
Yeah.
Once again, all you need is social media. If your nephews or my nephews, they're lucky my nephew don't want to be a rapper. Trust me, if my nephew's going to be a rapper, I said, okay, D, I'm going to go ahead and shoot your music video. Yeah. That's why a lot of these dudes are independent. You get these streams up, and they see that, you get all these streams, And then, you know, you can be independent and you can book shows off of that. Put your booking stuff up. They say, man, this person got this song going hard.
You can do whatever with your phone.
Whatever
So,
you can do that with your phone. You know, I see them even back in the day. You shoot music videos with the iPhone.
Yeah.
You can do whatever with your phone. It's more attainable now for them to be successful as a rapper.
And a lot
they
of
just have
people are
to be
just
consistent with it.
A lot of people too are now just being on TikTok.
Exactly.
And making a living that way. So,
Exactly.
you know, I think there's a lot of other ways. It's not the same as when, you know, you were young or when I was young, where you had to go get a job
You
and
had to,
do all of that stuff.
Like
so.
you. I know you don't have any. If you had a son and your son sit around and play video games or, you know, doing a lot of social. What would you say? Because you know I guess you were a millennium. Considered a millennium, right?
Millennial.
Millennial. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
millennial. I said
Yeah,
millennial. Millennial. You're considered.
But yeah, I mean, I would
'cause
definitely.
you have a different take on it. What would you think?
No, I mean, like I would definitely want my son to go to college and to be doing something. They could play video games and stuff and still make content and do all of that.
Caller.
So
you
know.
So you would still take that old school route and be like, look at you, man, you're wasting your time.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say you can do both.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can go to college and still, you know, make videos.
Yeah.
And in fact, that could be some of your content is like talking about what it's like to be in college.
You know, man.
So,
Yeah.
but I mean, like if the other thing starts popping off and he wants to like go and do that instead of
Finishing college,
I say, yeah, go do it.
go do it.
Because people are making millions of dollars doing that.
They
and
are,
so, yeah.
And which I had to.
What would you say? What would you do?
Me,
I mean, you're kind of, you know.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
went to school for business too, right?
But
Now-
you're getting there at that point where you have to, you know, talk, you know, 'cause you have a kid. you know, so-
Well, my son is 16.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all about because my son was kind of like me when I was younger, right? Before I always had a business mindset. I remember when I was a little kid, me and my buddies, we would go around cutting grass to make money, right? I remember even way back before then, I may have been like maybe 4 or 5. We stayed in the trailer park when I was little. And we, for some odd reason, I don't know where we found a bunch of oyster shells or clam shells. We was going around knocking on the door, y'all want to buy an ashtray? You know, I don't know, I always had that little hustle. And my son tried to do that too with cutting grass.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I think he was selling candy in school or something like that, you know. But now, because I went to school for business, so now I'm looking at, like, even with the sneakers, right? My son likes sneakers. So I told him, I said, dude, look, all right, I bought him a pair of Jordan 5 with the 5s for like $300 online. And I said, okay, this is like an investment. I said, dude, keep the shoes up because you can always resell them and you can make money. So now I kind of, you know, get with the times and look at social media now. So it's like, and I kind of get it if my son is sitting around playing video games. Now, if he's sitting around playing video games and he ain't making no money off of it, I'm gonna be like, bro, you need to get your act together. You know?
Right.
Or if he's trying to do social media content, I would encourage that as well. Me personally, yeah, I would want him to go to college, but I won't beat it over his head. I'd rather him go to college versus go to the military. I mean, hey, I'm sure some of you military people out there, you understand. I'd rather him go to college first. Now, if he had nothing going on whatsoever, then I said, okay, yeah, go to the military.
Yeah.
At least you can make an income and you got a place to stay, lay your head. You know, but I would definitely do that. But if whatever business, because he's taking marketing classes now, whatever business he wants to tap into, and if I can see a way that he can actually potentially earn an income, if he can prove to me, or, you know, not saying he proved to me, but with the money, if he can show me some literature or something that break down, like, or show me that, yeah, these people actually making money this way. And if you passionate about this, then yeah, I would encourage him to do it. Whether it be video games, social media content, like you say, these kids making, look at Kai Cenat.
Yeah.
Dude worth about 12, 14 million, Drewski.
Exactly. All those guys.
Yeah, that's what we need to be.
I know. Let's get on it. All right. Well, that's all. Once again, I'm Brooks.
I'm Hendrix.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.